All right, hi guys, can you hear me? Let me know if everything sounds okay, if the music sounds okay. All right, hi guys, can you hear me? Oops. Sorry, I had the stream open in another channel and it's gonna be echoey for a second. Let's see. There we go. Now I have the chat separately so that the video is not also playing. How is everybody doing? All right, sounds like everybody can hear me okay. Please let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet. Thank you, Bob. Oh my goodness, there's so many people coming on. Hi, everybody. All right, I'm gonna open up a drawing really quick. Just to start, I decided I wanted to do something simple. Something that wouldn't be too difficult for me on a first time because I'd like to finish it in 2 hours. We'll see if that actually happens. But I already have like a thumbnail slash sketch of the pose, the general pose I want. I might tweak it a little bit, but I figured I would start with Leo because he's the easiest, can't speak, the easiest for me to draw. Move him around a little bit. And I kind of wanted to give him some accessories or clothes, but we'll see. For now, let's just focus on making him, giving him a proper pose and fleshing him out a little bit more. Wrong layer. Aw, thank you. And hello to your kitty. Thank you so much. Dude, this is so weird to be doing this live. Like, there are people just actively watching what I'm doing as I'm working on this. I'll probably get used to this after a little bit of time. And it's a little different than like the magmas, because with the magmas, at least, like, I'm not on the spot talking or anything like that. I can just enter the chat whenever I want to. But in this case, gotta have my attention split a little bit. Thank you so much. Shattered on the inside, thank you. Also, this is where you guys discover that I'm also extremely slow at pretty much everything I do, but especially in drawing. I'm not a fast artist. My processes take a lot of time. Which I'm okay with, but yep, that's just how I draw. I tend to take a lot of time and put a lot of detail into my pieces. A lot of overthinking in my pieces, which is also something that I'm trying to stop, but because it's honestly more freeing and it's a lot more satisfying to draw without worrying too much. I think there were like 2 pieces that I did that I was really happy with how they turned out, because I just didn't worry too much about how they were going to, like, all the little details. I was more concerned with the bigger picture, and I was really happy with how they turned out. And those were the Mikey and Donnie pictures. How do I describe them? The ones where they're in the past, but it's part of my making piece AU. Yeah, that is very true. I'm not saying when there's less thought put into it, but when there's less worry put into a drawing, they still turn out good. Hi, Katie. There's so many people I know in this chat right now. It's actually crazy. All right, his leg is way too long here. Also, I use this tool a lot, the warp/liquid tool. It's very helpful with sketches. I'm thinking I will definitely give him pants later. I just gotta get the basic shape down first. Right? It's so nice. Also, the mirror tool. Like, if anything ever feels off about your drawing, use the mirror tool. It helps so much. Also, if you're doing traditional art, use an actual mirror. I have saved so many pieces that way. Just like, why does this look so wrong? Oh, that's because he's, I don't know, maybe leaning 30 degrees to the side too much. And he looks very off balance. Thank you. gonna focus on the face for a little bit. That's probably the hardest, is the face. I put a lot of, not pressure on myself, but maybe just like emphasis on the face because, you know, the whole saying like the eyes are the window to the soul, and I always want the face to turn out particularly well. The one thing that has really helped with that Rise art book is the eyes. I think I've mentioned that before, but it's so nice to know like how the eyes are laid out. Like you've got a point here, like let's start with the corner of the eye and the upper corner of the eye, and then like, so the peak of the eye actually comes further in than the lower peak of the eye. And that just, oh, that helps so much. I need to make it a little bit wider there. Something's off about his mouth. I can't place it, but also re-angling the picture really helps. Nice. Yeah, who else is drawing at the same time this is going? That was one of the things I was hoping for, that people would be drawing the same time I was, and it would just be a nice chill drawing stream. That makes me so happy to hear. I hope you guys are having fun, because this is a lot of fun. I'm starting to get over the nerves a little bit, but this is... Yes, exactly. Okay, his face is still looking weird to me. You know what would help? It would really help if I actually had some reference. Let's see. Yeah. I looked away from the face for a second. And then I looked back and I was like, yeah, we need to restart that. That's good to hear. Doom scrolling is definitely very hard to break out of sometimes. So I'm glad to hear that I am a contributor in the fight against it. Oh, I think I was backed up on the chats for a little bit. Hold on. Oh. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Your name is shortened to, I'm going to butcher pronouncing it if you pronounce it a different way, but your name is shortened to Shayoti. I use Clip Studio Paint EX. So, and yes, I am drawing on a computer. I have a tablet. It's not a screen tablet. It's one of the kinds of tablets where like you have the tablet in front of you and then the computer like in front of your face, if that makes sense. You've got your tablet down here and then you've got your computer screen up here. I'm doing the motions with my hands, but I can't show you because I don't have a face cam. But I think you get the picture. It's just a non-screen tablet. And I've been drawing that way since I was 14, and I never really quote unquote upgraded just because I'm used to this. This is what I'm used to. This is how I draw digitally. Yes, yeah. I use Clip Studio Paint. It's really, really nice. Also, I use like an older version because whatever the newer versions are, they're insanely expensive. Also, there's like subscriptions too, but that's lame. So I'm not gonna do that. I think you can still get the version that I have, which I think is 1.5. I think you can still get that, a physical version on Amazon, maybe? I don't know. There's some place you can get it. I haven't really looked into it because I've had it for a while now, but yeah. I might need to restart on his head completely or just focus on a different part of his body. I should have done warm-ups before I started this. I don't even know what the latest version is. Does it work nice? Hi. How's it going? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, no, it works really good. Really well, I should say. I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna police my grammar. It works really good, even as the oldest version. I think there are like a few features. What am I? He doesn't have a bow staff. What am I doing? I think he had. I think the version I have is missing like a few features, but I've never had a problem with like missing them or something. Oh, I just realized his sword is going to be... Wait a minute. What am I doing? Yeah, no, that's right. I was worried for a second. I gave him his thumb backwards. I have been doing well, yeah. Thank you. Straight lines. The bane of my existence. I'm definitely overthinking this sketch. Yeah, you don't need all the bells and whistles. Not shown on stream, I am trying to figure out how Leo is supposed to be holding his sword above his head and what his hand is supposed to look like. I'm holding my hand up in the air currently. Very true. Yes. I've tried some weird poses, although I don't draw enough different poses. I should draw more different types of poses to get the practice in. But yes, whenever I am drawing a weird pose, I'm definitely doing some weird... I usually like have to either take a selfie or go to a mirror to see like how this is supposed to work in the picture. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hands, I actually, weirdly enough, I really enjoy drawing hands. This is a little weird right now because the angle's strange. This is so hard to navigate when it's like that. But I actually really enjoy drawing hands. I like to draw the hands. I like to draw specifically with the turtles, I like to draw their plastrons. Like, I love that the shape and the geometry. I'm not so great at drawing their shells, but I rarely draw their shells from the back. And I love drawing mask tails. They can be difficult. The plastrons can definitely be difficult. But I don't know, I really like them. It's like with clothes. I used to hate drawing clothes. Speaking of which, I would just want to start working on pants now. I kind of just want to move on to the pants. I want to give them pants. I used to hate drawing clothes, but I learned a few tricks that really made it enjoyable. A few tricks during the sketching process and during the rendering process that just makes it like, oh man, I'm always excited when I get to do the clothes. Turtle hands are definitely very easy, and I like the way they draw them in Rise because it gives you a clear and distinct sense of like the shapes. And yes, yeah, the plastron design definitely peaked in Rise. Trying to decide what kind of pants to give him. I could do cargo pants again because I'm addicted to those. Or I could just, let's see. Actually, you know what? No. What kind of pants do I want to give him? I really like big puffy pants. I am not opposed to that. Go right ahead. That would be so cool. I think because this is like my first stream, I'm really going to stick with what is simplest for me, and I am just going to give him cargo pants because I'm basic. Oh, I could do cargo shorts, actually. I'm sorry, Bo, that's actually hilarious. I literally just sent my brother a picture of a hat that had basically that same thing on it, and I was just, he thought it was hilarious, but instead it said, it was like, cargo pants? No, cargo beep beep, actually. Are you okay? Oh man, that was good. I just like how many pockets cargo pants have on them. I also like the ones with drawstrings. So we're gonna give him drawstrings. I want that hat. Hi, Z. I'm glad you figured out how to comment. I'm also going to give him his post movie, post last episode wraps, as opposed to like his sock things or whatever they are, because they're also easier to draw. Hi, Banan. Clothes. Yeah, let's see. Let's do a quick little tutorial on clothes. Let's see. Say hi to my sister, by the way, guys. Izamop is my sister. Okay, so the one thing that I've noticed with clothes usually is you start with a bigger shape, like a basic shape on top of the limb. So like, let's say you have an arm. And it's a turtle arm because of course it is. And so you figure out the pivot points really. And like, so with a t-shirt, it also really helps to study actual clothing. But so you do like a basic shape, like let's say for the t-shirt sleeve, actually let's do long sleeve. So like you've got this shape of the sleeve wherever it's going to be landing on top of the arm, if that makes any sense. And then the other part of the shape. So those are the basic components of the sleeve. And then you've got like the pinch points right here where it's going to bunch a little bit. And then where it stretches a little bit. And so let's see, there's a point right here that it's going to stretch over. So you make it stretch over like that. I am terrible at explaining, by the way, but then when it comes to these pinch points right here, let me erase the arm underneath really quick. This is the big key, is you do triangles, like kind of wonky triangles, but very loose. And you also figure out where other pinch points are, right? Like right here. Like here's the armpit. This is where the sleeve connects to the torso. But then you do more triangles here. Sometimes pinch points connect to pinch points. So you have sleeves that are draping a little bit like this. This is a very wrinkly sleeve. And this is almost too much wrinkle, but this is generally basically how you do it. I'm gonna try doing it where I'm not actively explaining it and maybe it'll come out a little bit better, so. Let's see, so draping, pinch point, draping here, again, like wherever, remember gravity, wherever the sleeve is going to sit, it's going to, the top part of the sleeve is going to rest here, and then it's going to drape down here. Pinch point right here, it's going to kind of stretch over the elbow. Pinch point here. Connected pinch points, and then, you know, triangles. That looks a lot more natural. But yeah, and then as far as actually shading, or rendering specific parts. Let's see. Yeah, that's on multiply. This is my best friend, the lasso tool. I love the lasso tool. It is so great for rendering, but you just basically take the shapes of the triangles, you trace them. You take an airbrush, you figure out whatever direction your lighting is coming from, and you shade towards that source, if that makes any sense. So like, let's say the source is coming from over here, drawing all over my own sketch. Then, let's see, I need to reselect this, take this part, and then, so the light is coming from this direction here. That means the light is going to be hitting more of this part of this fold. And so you shade the inner part of the fold. And it's just like magic. Thank you, Molly. Say hi to my other sister, Molly. Let's see, let me catch up on the chat really quick. I will definitely have to look that up, Bo. That sounds very interesting. My goodness, more people are showing up by the minute. Probably not by the minute. Okay. See, back to this. I'm just going to finish the rendering of the sleeve really quick. And then I will delete it. Into the abyss it goes. So another triangle. You don't have to be exact because we're really using them as guides. Aw, thank you. Again, shade towards the under part of the fold. And then obviously, since this one is this, I keep pointing at the screen with my finger as if you guys can see that. You select this part. Sorry, I got distracted. You select this section of the sleeve that's like pointing towards the light, and so you have to like shade it also in the same direction. It's gonna look different than these guys where they're shaded from the side, and it's gonna be like shaded more towards the actual pinch point. Yeah, anyway. I'm gonna go back to working on Leo. Oh man, I hope you're not in my walls. Oh boy. Yes. Yes, I do that. Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Let's play around with this mask tails a little bit. I kind of want them to be doing this. Actually, does that make sense for the direction he's going? Yes. I don't want them to be coming out of his mouth, so make them a little lower. As a tangent, we don't like tangents here. I'm gonna try that again. Let's see. One of the weird things I like to do, well, maybe it's not weird, but sometimes I like to start coloring before I do line art. Because, oh, I forgot to give him wraps up here too. I like to do the coloring. It almost acts like a guide the same way that line art does. And so sometimes I'll just start coloring as opposed to doing line art, and then I'll add the line art on top of the coloring because it just helps me refine the shape a little bit more. And that's more what I'm going for, is less the precision of the lines and more of the precision of the shape. Also, he's getting way too close to the edge. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. It does kind of look like he has a lot of arms, especially with his mask tails. You find him hard to draw, really? Well, I'm glad that that's like, I mean, that makes me feel a little bit better about him being, I don't know why that makes me feel better. It's just, I mean, the other turtles are so hard for me to draw. Which one is easier for you to draw? Because, like, Leo is by far the easiest for me to draw. I am so bad at Raph. And then Mikey is extremely difficult as well. Donnie is pretty okay. He's fairly simple. I'm gonna turn this on to multiply. I think it's because Mikey is so round. And like, I really like how sharp and angled the other guys are. And yeah, Raph is... yeah, I don't want to agree, but at the same time, yes, he kind of is impossible. But we will suffer through it for Raph. We'll do it for Raph. Egg-shaped, that's a very good way to put it. Let's see, I'm gonna get my color reference for Leo. Try to make things as easy as possible for myself. Because, and I don't consider it cheating, I just have a palette ready to go. It's about enjoying the process. Oops, that's a little big. This is the one I use all the time because it's just so easy to select from instead of like going around on the turtle himself and like trying to figure out the specific color I need without the cell shading. So let's see, select, pick displayed color, not color layer, skin. Let's see. Nope. Hi, Mom. Say hi to Egg Mom, everyone. And you're not late. I'm going until 5 o'clock, so you can pop on anytime. My mom taught me the basics of art, of like shading and shapes and like how to draw, you know, the basic cylinders and cubes and spheres, cast shadows, all of that stuff when I was very little. So I owe a lot to her. She also raised me, so that I owe a lot to her for that as well. I think that Leo is a yellow-green. I think he shows up as a little olive in certain scenes because of the lighting. But you can always play with colors. You don't have to stick with like a base palette like this one. You can start with your own colors and then just keep adjusting them as you go until it looks right. Because it's not about like making it as accurate as possible. I mean, sometimes it is if you're trying to get better at the specific show style, but it's about having fun and making something you like. Yes. He is definitely the color of a glow stick. Oh, that's okay. I plan on doing more streams in the future. I would really like to anyway, but thank you for attending. You have your own kind of art style too, Mom. My mother is a very prolific quilter, and she does beautiful patterns. She not only pieces the quilt, she also quilts the quilts, like does the thread work. And they're absolutely gorgeous, and she's always doodling like the patterns of the quilts in notebooks, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Yes, that means my mother is the mama hen. Yeah. Sorry to hear you guys are going through a little bit of art block. I found that art block is usually just your brain's way of telling you that you probably need to take a break. And do not beat yourself up over not being able to draw. Like, even if you want to draw, you might need to work on something else, and then it'll come back to you naturally. That's just my experience anyway. His heel is a little tangenty there. It's right against his calf. Try to fix that with the color. That's what I'm talking about with refining shapes with color. That's just, if I did something in the sketch that I don't like, I can fix it while I'm coloring. And then I'll turn down the opacity of the... Sorry, something happened with my sound. Anyway, so I'll go back and redo like a sketchy line art layer. I've been drawing for a long time, maybe about as long as I can remember, or at least as long. Actually, you know what? I think I have a very distinct memory of, I think maybe the first time I ever started drawing. There was one time, I was very young. It had to have been, I don't think I have any memories from before I was 4 years old. But I do remember distinctly one time, my oldest brother, who's about 10 years older than I am, was babysitting me, and he needed to entertain me with something. So he was like, okay, here's a pencil, piece of graph paper and a pencil. And he sat me down at the kitchen table and he was like, okay, you can just draw whatever you want. I was like, what? And he was like, go ahead, just like make shapes, draw a circle or something like that. And then I started trying to draw. And of course, the first time you do anything, you don't have the muscle memory for it. So I was immediately frustrated. It's like, I can't draw anything. I can't draw these shapes. I got frustrated. I just, like, I threw down the pencil and I gave up. I guess that didn't stick because I drew a lot more after that. And also, I still do this to this day, but I doodle a lot during church because it was one way for my parents to help me to stay focused on the sermon when I was little, for me and my siblings. And so I've been just used to doodling during sermons and just all the time. I think his leg wraps technically go up further, like closer to his knee, but yes, exactly. Sometimes I would be drawing whatever I wanted to, and then other times I would be drawing something that was related to the sermon, whatever was being preached about. So that definitely helped me focus. Okay, his arm wraps are off. I don't want this one going past his elbow. Maybe I do. Do we like it? Do we like the arm wraps going past his elbow or stopping below the elbow? Because I'm definitely not going for canon here. Shorter wraps. Yeah, kind of makes it look a little more casual. Past elbow. I think I will go with shorter wraps. I really, really like the look of the wraps going past his elbow. But I think in this case it looks just a little more casual and let's see. All right, I think I'm gonna start on his plastron now. That's the one thing I've always, because the plastron is one of my favorite parts to draw, I love drawing clothes. Love drawing clothes, but I do not like drawing shirts specifically on the turtles because it's very difficult to draw it draped across, to draw it draped on them specifically. Also, I just really like drawing the plastron, so I'm just like, if I have to draw a shirt, I'm like, no, I'm covering it up. I don't get to draw the shapey shapes. I might try both ways. I might try and see if it looks better over the elbow. The other thing is also the knees. Should I draw the wraps higher up on his legs so that they're covering more of his calves? I don't think he has enough back here. Hold on. Shift that a little bit. There we go. It really does, Heather. Yeah. It's just such a cool style. They look so good that way. I think one of my favorite styles is actually one of my favorite styles where they're actually wearing something covering their top is the, what's it called? The Hamato Ninja like garb from Insane in the Mama Train. I really liked those outfits. Those were cool. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And I like all the other outfits that they wear too, but for some reason it's just like, it works really well when they're just wearing pants. Something about that feels weird to say, but it's true. Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely all, I think that's the point. They're supposed to kind of look more united. Or not united, but more cohesive as a unit. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, that's not... There we go. Fills in better. Also, what is going on with... I think my bucket tool is messed up. Maybe turn the area scaling down. Yeah, honestly, I really liked the black wraps better too. Not just because they're easier to draw. I really, don't get me wrong, I really, really like their original designs, but it feels like those original designs are supposed to be kind of like their training wheel designs, as well as like the very first season. I feel like that's supposed to be like their training wheels arc. I like how it starts out with them being less skilled. So you get a chance to see them grow. And then they grow not only individually, but more as a team. I'm still having problems with bucket fill. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. I'm excited to see how this turns out too. It's probably not going to be. I think what's really bothering me right now is his face and his head. It just looks so wonky to me. But we will get to that later. I do not want to deal with it right now. What is this song? Hold on. Yes, only the classics. I need to just bring my hand off of the Control-Z hotkey. That's another thing I'm trying to train myself to do, is to just stop having such an itchy Control-Z trigger finger. And just live with my lines, work with them, as opposed to, as opposed to always trying to fix every little thing even before I have finished it. Okay, that was a mistake. Oh, I need to sketch out a little bit more of his cargo pants on this side. Pick from color layer. Yeah, it feels like they're... Hold on, that's a little loud. I love that song, but it's very loud. Let's see. Yeah, it feels like they're definitely a lot more cohesive in the movie. Like, I feel like the style... You can definitely tell in the first episode that it's the first episode. Because the animation and the designs are just a little bit stiff, but they become so much more fluid and well proportioned when you get to the movie. That's still too loud. Hold on, I'm gonna change the music really quick. Let's do Rat Taxi. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. I would love to see Splinter in an updated design. Kind of like what he kind of had that in the last episode where he had like, what was it, like the white robe? Am I remembering that correctly? He was wearing like the white robe, and like his hair looked more taken care of, or more like a lot fuller. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. Oh, I forgot his other arm. And his hands. Exactly. Yeah, he did look a lot more put together. Love Splinter. I love him for all his scrungliness. He is, it's honestly such a cool take on his character. The way they started him out being kind of, you know, an absent father and not really there for his, because he gets to grow alongside his sons. And I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that he would be so down all the time because of what happened to him. But it's also very encouraging to see him grow out of that and grow past being just sorry for himself all the time into putting more care and effort into his sons and, you know, saving the world. That's important too. Let's do... No, we want to do lower area scaling. There we go. He does. Yeah, a lot of the other Splinters, including, I think, the original Splinter, it started out as the Rat. I really like the idea that he starts as Yoshi and then becomes a rat. I really like that angle. I was looking for a color for Leo, and I forgot that I have reference right here. Okay, this is where I need to, I finally need to face the music and work on his face. All right, we are going to start over again. I think I might need to redo his whole head shape too. The general position is okay, but it's just... Nope. There we go. I do really like 2012 Splinter's design. He looks super cool. Something about this is just looking so wrong to me. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I bet Raph had a lot to do with them getting educated, or at least the basics of being educated. Although, they're not, this version of the turtles, they're not the brightest bulbs. I'm sure that they can do basic math and reading and writing comprehension skills and all that stuff, but there is an entire episode dedicated to how dumb the rest of them are. Donnie is just a special case. I would love to see more of their past, though, in general. Just their childhood and their upbringing. It's too far apart. There is, yeah. Z, did you ever see that short of Splinter, like, with the Turtle Tots? Well, it was the Turtle Tots mini episode, and I think you could just find it on YouTube. But like that gives you kind of a little bit of a picture of how Splinter kind of just tossed them into whatever education it was. In the case of this short, it was about him. Just putting them through, like, he was saying, like, okay, here are your weapons. I can't remember exactly what he instructed. I think he told them actually not to use them just yet, and then they did anyway. But then he immediately runs off to go watch his TV show, so gives you a pretty good idea. At the same time, though, it was very minimal, and I would still love to see more of it. Oops, wrong layer. That was close. He definitely is. Yeah. He would probably, he'd probably be effective in being a teacher, but I don't know how much of a gift that is for him. He might over-explain things a little too much. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. He probably was way more present to begin with. And then as they became more self-sufficient, he was like, oh, I don't need to deal with this as much anymore. So I'll just leave them to their devices. Why is it so hard to draw his face at this angle? Oh, it's probably because it's... Alright, we're gonna zhuzh some things around. Okay, I think that's marginally better. Alright. Water break. Yes, you should. Yes. Everybody drink your water if you have not done that in a while. Very important to stay hydrated. You're welcome. I almost forgot too, and then all of a sudden my head started telling me, like, hey, I'm gonna start a headache soon if you don't drink something. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're the boss. For other layers. Have to fix that, but that'll be fine. Oh, absolutely. Yes, yeah. Yeah, kids, be careful of what your kids are watching. If any of you have kids. If you ever have kids, be careful what they're watching. But yes, that's definitely what the whole Gumpus episode feels like. That doesn't sound familiar to me. Yes, I love how close they are with each other. It's so sweet. They do also, like, they're very much brothers, in that they're always razzing each other and pushing each other's buttons, but they're also very loving towards each other. So, like, I do love this version for that reason, I think. I really like the other versions, but I think that's one of the many things that I like the most about Rise, is because they just have such good relationships with each other. Exactly. I love the goofiness of the turtles. I think that's one of the things I really like about Ninja Turtles in general is the goofiness, and just like it does not take itself too seriously. Like it's really good at maintaining a specific tone when it's supposed to get serious or edgy or whatever you want to call it. But like for the most part, it's just so much fun. It's so silly and lighthearted. Yeah, especially the movie. I tell people all the time, like, the movie is 50% of the reason why I love Rise so much. And I'm very happy that I got into the fandom when the movie was already out. Because I had watched the show and I was like, okay, this is awesome. I'm pretty into this. And then, like, immediately afterwards, I watched the movie and I was like, Okay, I think I'm in love with the show. Yeah, okay, so I do, that's looking way better. I do the sketch, I do a very rough sketch, and then I block in colors to help refine the shape, and then I do line art, like on top of the sketch. I used to do line art on its own layer, but the sketch itself, I'm drawing on the sketch itself right now. It's a multiply layer, so whatever if I was using the red like I was before, it would show up like that, like on the white, but when I use black, it just darkens immediately. It doesn't, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just a lot easier that way. I'm trying to use fewer and fewer layers, because I used to use so many. I used to use individual layers for each section of color. And then at some point I was just like, you're making yourself crazy with this. Oh yeah, Cass Apocalyptic series is canon to me. I think that was another reason I really fell in love with the show, is because then I found the community. Oops, I am on the wrong layer. No, I was on the right layer. What? But like how creative people got, and especially with that comic, I was like, oh, it's like I'm getting more of the show. And then I realized that there were so many other good comics and fan fictions. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, I love all the different OCs that people have from Rise. It's just the creativity in this community is insane. And yeah, the yes, exactly. Yeah, also the I was definitely in the camp of just like when someone said something was cringe, I was like, oh, it's cringe. Yeah, it's cringe, obviously. And then I learned to think for myself. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm enjoying myself, so that doesn't matter. My stabilization is way down. That's why I keep doing that. Thank you. I'm a lot happier with how he's turning out. Goodness, is it already almost 4:30? I am hoping to get him rendered at least partially before the end of the stream, because that's one of my favorite parts, is the rendering. But this is taking longer than I expected. Actually, you know what? I kind of expected it to take this long. But at the same time, I'm just like, I tried to choose something easier for myself so that I could go a little faster. But I know my limits. I'm practicing. I just realized why his face looks so weird to me. He doesn't have his stripes. What am I doing? Hold on, we're gonna make this easier on myself. There we go. Let's see. I usually like to make his stripes adhere to the shape of his expression. Oh, there we go. Do bucket fill. No, wrong one. Oops. Oops. Doing everything wrong now. Let's see. This is a little blank here. I need to fix that. Oh, how long have I been in the fandom? You've been in it since December. That's awesome. That just means you have more time, more stuff to discover in the fandom. There we go, that's better. I've been in the fandom since, let me think, 2022, I think. I'm really bad with time frames, but I'm pretty sure I got into it in 2022. I didn't get back into, well, okay, I should say this. I got into Rise back in 2022. I got into the fandom, I guess technically also 2022, but like actually posting and being active online, that was just at the beginning of last year. Let's see. this color first. See, I want to start another album. I've been listening to a lot of Huion lately. I love his stuff. Let's do Aquarium City. $2023? Yeah. I definitely was not online by that point. Well, I mean, I was online, but I was mostly lurking. Reading a lot of fan fiction and just, you know, I was mostly finding fan art on Pinterest. But Pinterest has really gone downhill since then. There's way too many ads. Do I have a favorite band? That's a good question. Specifically bands? I really like Bond, which I can only describe as like Y2K electric exercise music that's like covers of classical songs. I like fast-paced stuff. And I really like their stuff. I really like Bond because, well, I grew up with it. My brother really liked Bond, and then I inherited his MP3 player, which had a bunch of Bond on it, and so I was just listening to that all the time, and I was like, this is my new favorite. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite all the time because I'm always discovering new music, but I really like Bond. They're like a electric string quartet. Yes. Oh my gosh. Pinterest. Okay, that's the one thing I was thinking about that, about how Pinterest is terrible for that before I even started this stream, because I was looking for references for poses. And I found the reference for this pose. Actually, I should just have it up. But there was like no credit for it. And I was like, I want to know who drew this though. Like, can I know, please? I need to log in really quick and hope that having too many tabs open doesn't crash my computer. But I couldn't figure it out, so I was trying to do like a reverse image search online, and I think I found it. I'm pretty sure. Wait a minute. Did I even save it? Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have saved it on my phone. Yeah, I'll find it later. But I think that's the reason I make sure to watermark all of my stuff so religiously, just because if it does get reposted anywhere, like even the smallest sketch that I do, I always watermark it. Not because I'm like afraid that someone's gonna steal my art as if it's like super duper valuable, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna lose my art to this person and all the credit that I get from this art. No, I don't really care about that. What I care about is whoever's on the other end. If they see my art and they want to know where it came from, I want them to be able to find me. So I make sure to watermark everything I draw, even sketches, as much as possible. I think I've forgotten a few times, but It happens. Yeah, it is. It's full of just way too many ads. Pinterest has way too many ads. It's like 75% ads now. Going back a little bit in, yes, AI art should be illegal. Yeah, that's exactly, yep, that's exactly it. I'm going back a little bit in the chat now. Yeah, it's just really nice to have something to copy paste on top of a picture, just change, mess around with the opacity a little bit, and then it's good to go. Still backtracking in the chat. How did everyone discover Rise? What made you love it? I discovered Rise through looking, I was just looking around on YouTube, and something came up in my recommended that was like, I think it was the video, you may or may not have seen it, but it's like the compilation. It's like 10 minutes or 9 minutes or something of Donnie being canonically autistic. And I was like, that sounds interesting. So I watched it and I was like, wow, he's really funny. I love this character. And then I discovered that the rest of them are really funny. And I love the characters. And I was like, wait, this actually looks really interesting. Because some of the clips were from the movie. And I was like, this looks amazing. I should check this out. I was also of the mindset at the time that I couldn't like anything that had low reviews. I was just like, I'm not going to waste my time with something that has such low reviews, and it did. But then I watched it, and my opinion on that has changed very much since then. So I give more things the benefit of the doubt because of that, but yeah, I discovered it through YouTube. And I think what made me love it was, yeah, after the movie. Let's see, is he missing, does he need more shoulder here? Actually, did I ever? No, I didn't. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. He did do Dewey from DuckTales. I really liked that show as well. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, that's the correct layer. Yes, yeah, it is a very funny show, and the animation is amazing, and the art is amazing, and it's so funny. The story, the characters, it's so good. I can see, oh yeah, their animations are great. I can see why it turned off a lot of people, because it did, if I'm being honest, it did have a very rocky start, which I have come to love now. I've come to really enjoy the first, like the initial episodes, but it did start off a little clunky, but it really picked up momentum as it kept going along. Yeah, they have excellent character design. Let's see, I'm gonna start refining the lines a little bit more. Black. All right, I've got less than 20 minutes left, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna work on I'm gonna work a little bit on rendering. I'm not gonna bother with the swords right now during this stream, but I would like to do some rendering before this ends. Ben Schwartz is the blue guy. He is. Oh yeah, no. This rigged animation, there's a lot to be said for it. It's just, I don't think that it did rise any favors. If that's, I'm not sure if they used rigging or not, but you're right. It definitely looked a little rigged. Okay. All right, for this layer, for shading, something that I found a while ago that just changed the whole game for me was clipping layers to the layer below. So like you have a layer above that's on multiply, that's going to be like your shading layer. And then you clip it to the layer below, and that makes it so that you can do as much scribbling as you want, and the color will only go to the very edge of the layer below, if that makes any sense. How long? I couldn't tell you. Some of them take forever. Sometimes it depends on how much I'm just like, man, I just want to get this done, or I'm trying to do it for, like, let's say an ask or something, and I'm just like, I don't want to keep the person waiting, or I just really want to communicate or convey something without thinking too hard. Again, going for the lasso here, just as a side note. I love the lasso for shading. But then other times there are pieces, there's one in particular I'm working on right now to use as a header image for my making piece AU that is taking me forever, partly because like I keep having so many other projects that pop up, but also just like I am way overthinking every little detail. Just like, this is going to be my header image, so it needs to be perfect. And then I'm like, no, it doesn't. So, and I also don't complete pieces in one sitting usually, so I don't really have like a time frame. I don't keep track of the time. I wouldn't be able to tell you, like, I sat down for this and then finished it by this time. Just, I keep drawing until I'm done. And the point for me isn't necessarily to like, I'm still always trying to practice and get better and faster, but the point for me is more just to enjoy the process. I do want to get faster, but it's not the end of the world if I don't. Okay. Another part of the turtles I really like drawing is this part of the mask specifically right here. I love outlining this with the lasso right over his eyes. And then down this way. I won't be shading that far probably, but... And so you've got like his brow ridges. I know sometimes the animators draw it so that their brows happen within the, like inside the mask or outside the mask or whatever. The brow ridges anyway, but... I like to use the mask as a guide for how their brows sit on their face. So I would be shading like right underneath the brows. Actually, I'm gonna redo that so it's like, and then you take away the selection and it's shaded. It's got a little more depth in his face now. If you get this done with this, are you going to post it on Tumblr? Yes, I'll definitely post it on Tumblr. I probably won't finish it today. I definitely won't be finishing it within this stream. And I kind of figured that that would be the case. I just remembered, I think I was wanting to give him other accessories too. So I'll have to add those on later. But yeah, I'll definitely post him when I'm done with him. Maybe I'll save him for another stream, but I would also like to work on other projects and just use stream time as like a way to work on projects while I'm just chilling out with you guys. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Whoop. You know, I should probably actually decide what direction the light source is coming from. It's definitely top down, but which side? I think I want it to be coming from in front of him. I'm also realizing he needs a shell behind his head. That's why that looks so weird. Okay, so that means lighting would be on this side. What piece am I most proud of? You can, I'm gonna answer this one first. You can post your version whenever you want. I don't mind. I'm not gonna gatekeep your art. What piece am I most proud of? That is a very good question. I have a lot of pieces I'm really proud of. I'm really, really happy with how, let's see if I can open it up really quick. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Cause I'm just, oh man, I'm so happy with how the bounce lighting turned out on this one, especially on his hands. Cause this was when I was starting to like figure out the shapes of hands, like in a lot more detail. You can also see how much my color bleeds outside of the lines. And I was really trying to replicate the style of one of my biggest inspirations, Lulea. I'll show you one of her pieces. Actually, I'm not sure if it's her, but I'll show you one of their pieces. Hold on. Desktop. Is it a new folder? No, it's not a new folder. That's right. This is not my art, by the way. Big caveat, this is not my art. This is by an artist named Lulea, who I may be mistaken. I think they worked on the show, but this is one of the most inspirational pieces to me in terms of like rendering. Like this is what I want my art to look like. Maybe not as clean of lines. Like I love the clean lines and I would love to be able to get there, but in terms of shapes and adherence to the show style and yeah, just the flow and the motion of everything. I also like what's going on down here, like this hazy purple filter, whatever is going on. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's one of my biggest inspirations. So I was really trying to emulate that with this piece. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. I worked a lot on this one. Right? It's so good. It would make a good bookmark. Yeah. That's off the top of my head, that's one of my favorite pieces. let's see. All right, I've got like 8 more minutes here. I'm going to focus on the mask tails for a second because that is one of my absolute favorite things to render. You just kind of start at where the mask folds over and just select this. And because I have a clipping layer, I don't have to like select so specifically along the lines of the edge of the tail, because as soon as I start shading, it's going to cut off at the color. So, but yeah, I love that. I just love that. I just think that's so cool. It's one of my favorite things I've discovered about using digital art. Do I have a story I'm making? Kind of. 2. I have making peace, which is kind of just, I come up with things as I go for that one. And then I have the zombie apocalypse AU, which I am definitely still working on. It's just taking forever because Donnie's chapter is fighting me. I know, sometimes it does take a long time to really get the style of the show down, but it is well worth the effort. Like, there's nothing wrong with something taking forever. I'm a perfect case study. I take forever on everything. But there's nothing wrong with taking forever on something as long as you're enjoying the process. I will sound like a broken record saying that, but genuinely, like, unless you're doing art for a living, my personal policy is just like, have fun. And don't not have fun if you're doing it for a living as well, but just like, you're not drawing, you're drawing, there's a certain like release for your soul. At least for me, I'm just like, I love to draw as like decompression or relaxation or just for fun. I love drawing so much, and yeah, I kind of care how long it takes, but at the same time, I don't. I just want to draw. And I don't want to do it on a deadline. Or at least, I mean, I can do deadlines, but at the same time, I try not to give myself too many personal deadlines. Otherwise, it sucks the fun out of it. Thank you. Yeah, I love drawing the mask tails, and there's a lot more I want to do with them too. Like, this is just the basic shading. They also, the red on top of this, whatever this red I'm using, it's a more orangey red. On top of the blue does not look great. Let me lock the alpha really quick and change it, because sometimes it really makes a difference when you pick specific colors for the shading. Like, let's see. That's way better. I'm not sure how... Red works so much better for more like warmer tones on a character. Like that blue doesn't look so great. It looks a little too like dull on his skin. But on the mask tails, Let's see. Actually, let's go a little bit more pink. And then change that. Yeah, that's way more saturated. That looks so much better. Yeah, you could do, I mean, it's fun to play around with all sorts of colors. What am I seeing there? Oh, I see. On my stream it was all blanked out, but... Is there anything I need prayers for? Not worrying. Giving everything to God. I don't like letting it show, but I worry about a lot of things. Let's see. All right, we're getting really close to the end here. Got like maybe 2 more minutes. I'll try to do a little bit of his pants here. Oh wait, those are drawstrings. Let's see. Thank you. Let's see. I think that's about as far as I'm gonna get with him today. Which is honestly pretty far. A lot further than I thought I was gonna get. I was hoping I could get a little bit more into the rendering. I think at the very least, hold on, one more thing. Give him little highlights. I don't know why, but I always like giving, the show, obviously you don't see highlights in their eyes very often, but I love giving them highlights. I just think it adds so much life. So we'll leave it at that. Hit Control S, which is something that I should have been doing way more throughout this stream. But yeah, that's about as far as I'm gonna get today. Let's see how he looks mirrored. He looks decent. He looks pretty good. And yeah, I'll keep working on this. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been really fun. This has been so much fun. Thank you guys for making this a good first stream. I'm happy with the turnout and I'm very grateful for all of you guys. Yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have fun drawing whatever you're drawing or whatever you're doing with the rest of your evening. It's probably way later for you guys in some of your time zones than it is for me. But yeah. Thank you so much. And have a good night.